Faith Shaffer is just plain lucky. Can you imagine going to an exotic place? And it is. There's some hard stuff, but it is just an absolutely interesting, intriguing spot of the world. And what you get to do is teach MKs. I'm doing a Thursday morning study with some of the teenagers, and I absolutely love it. It's one of the highlights of my entire week. And just to be able to watch the light bulbs turn on as they get it and understand something, and to be able to pour into those young lives. And that's what Faith is going to get to do for a long time, Lord willing, and helping those MKs in Mongo, Togo. Now, she'll tell you a little bit more about it tonight, but all of a sudden there is an urgent need there, and the mission has asked her to get over there by the end of this year. And that's made for some changes. She has about 35% of her support so far, and about half of her O&P. So we have a job in front of us to make sure she gets the rest and gets over there. And I'm just absolutely delighted to invite Faith to come up here and tell us about what the Lord has called her to do.
Good evening. So my name is Faith Shaffer. I'm a missionary to Togo, West Africa. I have not been there yet, but like Pastor said, I am hoping to go by the end of this year, full term. So God has been using different events in my life like puzzle pieces that fit together for the purpose of the bigger picture, the calling on my life to be a missionary to Togo. As I looked back over the past events of my life, I saw that pieces, the parts of my life were kind of like pieces that fit into a bigger puzzle. So I would like to share some of those with you tonight. So I was born and raised, I was born in Arizona, but only lived there for 2 weeks, so it doesn't really count. So I was born and raised in Idaho. We attended here for a while. We moved when I was 5 to Kuna, and Kuna Baptist Church was built right outside of, the new building was built right outside our neighborhood, so it was really cool to switch and go there, and I've been going there ever since. So I was saved at the age of 6, and this was the first important piece that God put in my life to lead me down this journey that I'm on, was accepting Him as my own personal Lord and Savior. So my family, I was born and raised in a Christian family, and so I have 2 older brothers. The oldest is not in the picture above, which is a little hard to see, but not in the picture. He has his own little family and has 3 little boys. One was born this January, so he's really cute and little. And then I have 2 younger brothers and then 2 little sisters. So the church foundation was another important piece that God put in my life. Church service, evening service, youth group, Awana, Sunday school, all those things were very important for me to grow in my relationship with God. The Awana made a big impact in my life. So I started kind of late in it. I started attending Awana when I was in 7th grade. So I was I was in junior high, but they put me in the last year of TNT to get used to it. But then in junior high, I was able to become a leader in training, which we put the junior high and high school kids in the younger grades to help them memorize verses. And so I was put with the younger kids to help them go through verses and help them memorize them and understand them. In freshman year, while I was doing that, I got one little boy who came to Awana, and he had never been before. He came, and he was put in my little group of 3 kids that I helped, and he didn't know anything about God. He didn't know anything about the Bible. The first verse we teach them is John 3:16, and so he didn't, who's this God? Who's his son? Wait, why did he come to earth? Why? And so I answered all the questions. But after Awana, I went to the leader of the group and I said, can you take him next Wednesday? And it was because I was scared to share the gospel with him. I thought I would mess it up and confuse him and something terrible would happen. And so I wanted the more experienced person to take him so that she could effectively tell him the gospel. And she looked at me and she said, I can do that for you, Faith, but I would like you to go home and I would like you to pray about it this week. And if by the end of the week you still feel like you want me to do it, I'll do it. But if not, then I would like you to do it, And so I prayed about it that week, and by the end of the week, I decided that I was going to try. And so I got to Awana, and he was put in my group, and I shared the gospel with him. And after that, it was like I knew that God could use me. Even if I was scared I wouldn't have the words to say, or I would mess up, he could use me and he would speak through me. So that was an important part of my life. In the next year, in my sophomore year, I decided not only to share the gospel once in a while, but to share the gospel every single week at Awana. And so whatever verse they were learning, I would figure out a way to bring the gospel forward to them. And so through that, it was it showed me that I love to teach kids. I love sharing the gospel with them, and I also felt called at that time to be a missionary. But at the time, I didn't know exactly what that would look like, and I was envisioning jungles by myself. It was scary, so I kind of pushed it away. I didn't really, I didn't think about it much. I mean, I did think about it, but I pushed it away as not an option in my brain. I thought I could be a teacher here in the States, and it would be a lot safer. So, but that February, during missions conference, Megan McKenzie came to our church and spoke. And she is a teacher for the missionary kids in Togo at the Hospital of Hope. And so when she brought that up, it was like a light bulb, and I never even considered MK ministry. I didn't even, at the time, I didn't even think of it as an option. I didn't know about it, I guess. And so I knew at that time that that's what God was calling me to. So I got home after that Sunday she spoke and went online, and me and my mom looked for colleges that I could do dual enrollment so I could get my degree faster. So I graduated from high school with my associates and then went straight on to working on my bachelor's. I'll graduate with my bachelor's in elementary education this December after student teaching semester. So that was another piece that God put in my life was my love for missionaries and missions conference, and all the missionaries from Togo in missions conferences for years. I think that was a piece that God put in my life. So summer of 2020, I went to ABWE headquarters, and I did trainings for about 3 weeks. After that, I was accepted as a full-term missionary with ABWE. So at the time, I thought I was going north, and it was kind of sad because all of the people I met and had class with were all going south. So I had a whole group of people that I had sat around, for 3 weeks or 2 weeks, I guess. They weren't there the last class, but 2 weeks I had prayed with them. We had shared prayer requests among each other. We had, done embarrassing things like sharing the gospel and trying to do it through different religions, and they were faking religion. And so we built relationships through the trainings that we did, but it was kind of sad because they were all going to the South Hospital and I was going to the North Hospital. However, during that conference and after that for a while, I think last time I spoke here I was still planning on North Togo, so it switched a little. But they kept asking me if I would consider going South Togo. And I didn't again, realized that that was an option, that there was a school in the South. I didn't think about it. So I told them I would pray, and I prayed for 2 weeks strongly on it. And I emailed the team leader, and I said, okay, I'll go where the need is greatest. Is it South or North for a teacher for the MKs? And he emailed me back, and he said, we need one for the South. And so I'm going South. So a lot of you know where Togo is, but there's Togo. It's a really small country. I did the numbers, and I think you can fit about 3 Togos into Idaho. So it's very small, but there's about double the people. So 2 times the people, very small though. So Mark 16:15, and he said to them, go into all the world and preach the gospel to, this version says the whole creation. I'm used to all creation, but so there was a need for teachers in Togo. So this is a picture of the North Hospital up on top, and then the hospital in the South in Adida. So this is where God was calling me. This is where God was calling me to serve the people, to serve the missionary team there, and this was part of the puzzle he was building, part of another piece that he had put in. So fitting into the bigger picture of the hospital, we have so many missionaries there. We have doctors and nurses and tech people and all different types that I'm not even sure their titles, but lots of different people working in the hospital alone. But then past that, we have women's ministries, and we have pastor training ministries. We have the blind school. We have all these different ministries. So I'm going to be kind of a support for those ministries so that they can send their kids to the school, and then they can go out and do what they're called to do and what God's blessed and given them the talent to do. So this verse stands out to me, and it just it really points out the importance of missions, for me at least. So how then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? Romans 10:14. So my job is to help tell not only the Togolese and not only the MKs, but about Jesus, but also to help the parents to go and be able to share that with the people that they encounter throughout the day. So the MKs are really going to be my mission field. They are where I'm going to put my love and heart into. So the school is on the compound of the hospital. I've gotten people ask that question, and it is on the hospital compound, and it's pretty close to where their houses are. So most of them can, it's a really quick walk over to the school. We do have several kids that live closer to the blind school, and so I know we have one family this year that they bring their kids up two days a week because it's such a long drive for every day. So they just do 2 days. But so numbers differentiate throughout the days. But this is the class this year. So we have about 35 kids. We have little ones. We have older ones. There's just a lot of them. The parents right now have taken on teaching the junior high and high school. They have taken they split up the classes, so one couple teaches history, another couple teaches science and such. And so the junior high and high schoolers are being taught by the parents currently, and then right now the teacher is taking on the kindergarten through 6th grade kids. So next year we have a lot of families going on furlough. So we're thinking lower numbers, but that also means that the parents who were teaching are leaving. So the high schoolers. So we're thinking of bringing the junior high in to the schoolhouse next year. We also have, I think we counted up 7 junior highs kids next year, so we have a lot more. So we were going to add those in, but we were thinking about 20 kids next year, and then the following year, new people are coming, and then people are coming back from furlough, so big numbers, but we're not sure what those are. Okay, so this year I'm going on a short-term survey trip, so I'm going 3 weeks. I booked the plane tickets this week, so April 19th to May 7th, and I'll be there. I'll get to see a lot of people. So one couple, the couple over here on the right side, I was with them during classes, and they're over there right now. When I was with them in classes, she was pregnant with her first child. Well, now she's pregnant with her second child. So I get to go see them, meet her little girl, and I'm excited about that. And then I also get to meet the teacher. I've been having phone calls with her every month over FaceTime on the Apple phone. And so it's been really cool to get to know her. I feel like I know her really well, but I haven't met her in person, so I'm excited to meet her and her family. And then there's so many people that I've had Zoom calls with or emails with that I have never met. I don't know them. But yeah, I recognize the names, so I get to meet all of them, and I'm excited. Get to see Togo because I haven't been there yet. So it will be a good experience, and I'm excited for it. So this spring, and I was going to explain because of the confusion between, so the teacher currently, The teacher currently is she's part-time or midterm, I guess, missionary. So next year she's going to be at 4 years of teaching teaching at the school. And so the reason I'm going to South and the reason I'm going this December instead of doing language school is because she's not supposed to be there. She's supposed to be there this next year, but not the following. So they wanted to make sure I got at least a semester in with her before giving me the whole class. So it was very nice of them. And so that is the reason for that. So this spring, I'm actually learning French. We had a lady from our church offer to teach me French. She was an instructor in French and first-year Spanish. And so she offered to teach me French and has been doing the first year we did one session a week, and it was only 1 hour. So it was 1 hour a week. So it was really slow. But then 6 months ago, we switched, and we are doing two-hour sessions. So it's a lot more French. She's been giving me homework, so it's getting a little quicker, but my brain's also, going a little crazy with it. But so learning French is something that I'm planning on continuing this spring and then summer. And next fall, probably not as much, though, because of my student teaching, it will take up time. The short-term trip, making plans for that, making sure everything's set for that, and then going. And then I am raising support. So getting more partners is another thing that I'm working on this spring and summer, definitely. And so that's another thing I'm doing. And then I'm also homeschooling my two younger sisters. So this has been a cool opportunity because I've been able to use some of the different techniques I've been learning through school, and then also use some of the curriculum that they're using at the hospital that they're using to teach the kids. And so it's been cool to use that and kind of see how it goes. And my support level. So I am at 35% of my monthly support, and then I'm at 51% of my outfit and passage. So if you feel that God is leading you to give, I would encourage you to pray about it and to consider it, because I do need the support to get there and to help the team over there. And I do need full support to get there in December. They want full support by December. So some things you can pray about. So my short-term trip, like I said, I haven't been there, so it's kind of a new experience, and with that, a little bit of fear, but excitement, mostly excitement. But then travel to and fro, it's a really long flight. And then while I'm there, that I would just be encouraging to the missionaries, and that I would build relationships, because these are the future parents and kids that I'm going to be working with. So to build those relationships while I'm there, 3 weeks is not very long to be able to meet everybody and build a little bit of a relationship with them. So prayer for the South team. One of the missionary families has recently lost one of their little girls, and so to cancer. So prayer for them, the team, the whole team would be good. The hospital ministry, that God would continue to provide the hospital with what they need, and that the gospel would be continued to go out. My French learning, if you would remember to pray for that. Like I said, it's very hard on my brain. It doesn't connect very well. So hopefully I can learn that in time, but I'll work on it while I'm there too. But, and then my support, and prayer for more workers on the field. There's a need at the hospital in the South. There's a need at the Hospital of Hope. There's a need all over the place for more workers on the field. So if you would pray for more to come. And then I have some time for questions. So if anybody has questions. And then I also have a table in the back. Also, if you want to receive my newsletter, I try to send them out every month, but sometimes it gets a little further than every month. But yes.
Will you be traveling by yourself for this short-term trip?
I will. So this first time I will be traveling by myself. The next time when I go full term in December, my brothers have offered to come with me. One of them is interested in ministry too, and so he is especially excited to come and see how it is. But yeah, this time it will be alone, so it'll be a long 10 hours, and so yeah. Okay, so because the other teacher is leaving this next year, what it looks like right now, I'll be alone in the school, so I'll be teaching all of them. Hopefully another teacher comes by, so if any of you like to teach. But yeah, right now it looks like I'm by myself, so yeah. Junior high. Yeah. I was homeschooled still. I have that background, a little bit of teaching the different ages, but that's a lot more kids than than I'm used to. So yeah. Yes. So right now, it looks like so there's like a house built into the schoolhouse. So it looks like right now it will be available for me. This minute, there's like a nurse living in it, I think. But they said by the time I'm supposed to get there, it should be open. Things change a lot though, so they want me to be on the compound though. So they'll hopefully figure that out somehow. Yes. So, like I said, I've been talking to the teacher there every month, and so we've been going over what curriculum she uses, her different teaching styles, and what the kids are like. So we've been talking teacher and how to teach them every month. And I am using a little bit of the curriculum with my two younger sisters, but a lot of it is similar to what I've been using. So I'll get used to it in the spring, but it will be a lot of getting used to just teaching all of them too in the spring. So, yes.
Do you have to teach in English or
Yes, I get to teach in English. Yay! So, yeah, it's a good thing. My French right now is very, very sad. I can understand more than I can speak, but yeah, I do get to teach in English. So it will be when I go to church or go to the hospital to visit anybody or anything like that, then I'll have to use the French. But I don't know. I'm sure at some point during the long-term trip. I think this short-term trip, I'm going to just stay south just so that I can make as many connections as I can. But long-term, probably. Yeah. Yes.
How about more your long stay?
Yes. So right now it looks like I'm going to be staying, so the spring of, 2023, that spring, and then I'll be staying the fall to the spring of 2004. So it'll be like a year and a half. So spring, summer, fall, spring. Yeah. And then after that, also, I plan to do at least a year at a time, and then come back to visit family in the summer, but then go back for the school year. Yeah. Okay, if you guys think of any more questions, I will be at my table in the foyer. So thank you again for having me, and thank you for all your prayers and support. Thank you.
Do you get the impression that this is a very brave girl? And how many of you would have the courage to do that? There's a lot of questions there. You kept here saying, we think, we hope, we don't know, we're not sure. And that's always been one of the issues on the mission field. There are just so many variables. The missionaries, things hit, health problems, all kinds of things that from one semester to the next, she could go from 20 students to 50 students, literally. And you just got to deal with it. There it is, and you're there. So it's your job. And it takes a unique kind of a person to be able to handle that. Some of you this year, the last 2 years perhaps, have discovered what it means to be involved in homeschooling. Maybe not you, but a family member or something. And kind of got plunged into it with your own child or a couple children. This is a completely different ballgame and so very vital to those missionaries. If each of the missionaries had to do it themselves, it would cut way back on the time and ministry and opportunities that they have. So that's why we have these little schools in different places. We have groups of missionaries. Togo is somewhat unique in a lot of the ABWE world in that they have these 2 hospital compounds where the kids can come. They have a schoolhouse there, and there is housing for a teacher. But one of the unique things about a hospital is there's just so many needs all the time, and you're often dealing with volunteer helpers. So what if you get 3 anesthesiologists and no surgeon? That can happen. What if you just plain don't have the help that you need in this or that area of a hospital ministry? It happens all the time. And the missionaries are always having to adapt and adjust and figure this out, and who can take care of that and who can handle something else. So we really do need to pray for fields like this and for girls like Faith that are willing to step up to that challenge. You're going in April, right? Did you get your yellow fever shot yet? How much did that cost? That's probably all of the shots, or a bunch of them, not just yellow fever, right? Okay. Because that's where I was headed next. What about this, and what about this, and what about this shot, and what about the malaria pills and all that? Most of us complain if our insurance makes us pay $2.49 on our prescription over at Fred Meyer. Imagine something like that. That wasn't expected or necessarily planned for. And have you got your visa yet?
No. She said that because it's so short-term, she said I could get it there for
Okay, and we happen to be right in the middle of that right now on our Togo trip with the teens. We're still trying to figure out some of the details. If she can get it like that upon arrival in Togo, it's only $35. But it was for 7 days. So if you stay more than 7 days, then you got to figure out what's next. You got to leave your passport, and that's a little scary in a foreign country. And got to figure out, how to get it transferred back to you, and it didn't show up, and it didn't show up, and now what do I do? Where on earth is it? Whose official's desk is it on right now? If she, for some reason, can't do it that way, it's $249 to get the visa for her visit like that. And there are just multiple details of that sort that she's going to be faced with now between now and April. And that's why there's an offering plate back there. And I want you to be more than generous tonight and help her out. She's got some unexpected things, and she's got to be able to just keep making those decisions rather rapidly sometimes. And not having had that experience and going alone the first time, we need to pray a lot for her. I'd like you to open your Bibles to two verses, and they're in two different books. So Matthew 28 and Acts 1. And I just want to close with some thoughts from two very familiar biblical texts that have to do with why we do this. Why do we go? What is this all about? A few years ago, a guy named Thomas Friedman wrote a book. Now, he's something of a Middle East expert, so I've read lots of his stuff over the years. This book was a little bit different. The title was The World is Flat. And he tells the story early on in the book about pulling up to a fast food McDonald's drive-thru and giving his order at the little microphone there, and then going up to the window to pick it up. In the meantime, that order went to Singapore, where it was processed, sent back to the kitchen there at the local McDonald's to get it ready, and they were able, by sending it to Singapore, to shave 8 seconds off of the time it takes for you to get your food at the next window. Now, that probably sounds more than ridiculous to most of us. But, and I think COVID has probably knocked a hole in some of those sorts of statistics, but that's the way our world has been growing and progressing in terms of technology. And he used a word which hasn't stuck around real well, but it is a good word, and it's something that I wanted to use as part of our thought tonight. He talked about glocalization. So the globe has become local through technology, and we've all experienced something like that. I mean, to be able to talk on FaceTime with the teacher that's over there, just a very few years ago, there was no possibility of doing that. I mean, if you could make a phone call, which was sometimes almost impossible, it cost megabucks to talk for a couple minutes. Now we can just ring up on WhatsApp and get through and talk and see their face and everything else. I remember one of the first years we were in Brazil, our daughter Susie had broken her arm just before going, and so she was still in the cast. And we were missing Grandpa and Grandma, and that was back in the days of cassette tapes. Does anybody know what those are? And it would take several weeks for a tape to get there, and of course then make a response and send it back and forth. But you got to hear Grandma's voice. And we got one of those tapes, and we're all laying on the bed and listening to Grandma Obenchain. And Susie is there just looking at that box where the sound is coming out. She went over, "Grandma, come out." how far we have advanced in one generation is just amazing. But it has also brought some pretty incredible technological struggles and difficulties, and certainly some opportunities. And this idea of globalization has affected all of us. But so much of the world remains unaffected by that. I don't know who first put this together, but they made a comparison. If the whole world was a village of just 100 people, so take the whole population, squeeze it down, we've got 100 people. 60 of those people would be Asians. 14 would be Africans. 12 would be Europeans. 8 would be Latin Americans. And 5 would be North Americans. So how good is your English? You've got to be able to learn another language to be able to communicate. You've got to be able to do that. And this is an amazing development for her to be able to bypass the language study because they need her desperately now. And so now look at how she has tried to solve that by learning locally, by packing it in as best she can, doing student teaching and still trying to learn a language and getting ready to go. That's what it takes. And it takes a unique person to face a challenge like that. A lot of us just don't have it in us to do that sort of a thing. 51 would be male. 49 would be female. I don't know for sure how that works. I thought it would be 50-50. 82 of those 100 people would be non-white. 67 would be non-Christian. And you know that term includes a whole lot more than what probably we would want to include as the definition of Christian. 80 of those 100 would be homeless. 24 would be living without electricity. I'll never forget the experience in Congo of going through a town of population 3 million, no running water, no sewage, no electricity. 3 million people. Now, they had a river that ran down through the middle, and they all lived on the edges of the river, so that was their sewage and their running water. I'm not kidding. But they didn't have electricity out of that. There were a couple bars right down on like the main street where the guy had enough money to be able to buy a little generator, and he could string up a line of lights, and they'd dance and do a lot worse than that in the fringes. And that was at night. That's the only light you even saw in the whole region. We do not understand here in America what the rest of the world is like. We don't have a concept of that. So now look at what the Bible tells us. Matthew 28, verse 19 and 20. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. The all nations there, the Greek word is ethne, all ethnic groups. We're told by missiologists that there are still over 2,000 ethnic groups on earth that don't have any part of the Bible in their language. Do you even know what that, do you even care what that means? When we have the Bible so readily, by the hundreds of copies available, multiple translations, Bibles in every room of your house probably. And you have people that don't have any of it in their language. And a bunch of that's right there in Togo, by the way. There are 40 different language groups in Togo. Now, the big ones, if they know some French, they have some access there. ABWE, which is the main language down there by the Southern Hospital, just got the Bible in their language about 7 or 8 years ago. It's that recent. But there are still people all over in that vicinity that don't have any part of the Bible in their language. So the missionaries try to work through translators and helpers and try to get whatever they can. use the good soil pictures to try to explain the gospel, to be able to go to those villages. Just around the Southern Hospital, 40 churches have grown up in the time that the hospital has been there. And these are different language groups, different kinds of peoples that if it wasn't for that hospital ministry, they would not have had an opportunity. And if it wasn't for people like Faith, who helped those missionaries by taking care of their kids and training their kids so that those missionaries can do their job in other ways. That's part of what this verse is all about. I reject the idea that because somebody is a support missionary, that it's not really the same thing. The work that they do is essential for the others to be able to take the gospel to those people. And I'll guarantee you, people like Faith are given the gospel every opportunity they get. They meet those little kids that never heard John 3:16 before. And they're sharing every opportunity that they have. That's how this verse gets obeyed. Now, not everybody is supposed to go. But please, do not let yourself off that hook too easily. I think we have grown so complacent in this country, we just don't even care. We don't think about the darkness that is in the rest of the world. Now, notice what it says and what it doesn't say. It says, go and make disciples. It doesn't say, go and make workers, go and make tithers, go and make some other kind of Christian worker. All of those things are good. They're necessary. It doesn't even say go and evangelize, although evangelism is the first step in making a disciple. Apart from that, they're not a disciple. But being a disciple is much more than hearing that Jesus died for you. It takes a level of commitment, of growth spiritually. And that's our task. That's what we are to be involved in, and we're to do it everywhere around the world. Now flip over to Acts 1:8 because it gives us some more detail about how we ought to be doing that. Acts chapter 1, verse 8. But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and even to the remotest part of the earth. That task is not only unfinished, that task will never be finished until the Lord decides so and comes back. We have a continual, simultaneous job to do. Notice we're to be witnesses in our own Jerusalem, for sure. But at the same time, we're to be witnesses in our Judea, Samaria, here in the state of Idaho, here in the United States. And at the same time, it is our responsibility to take the gospel to every creature, as we saw there in Matthew. And we're to do all of that all of the time now. Does that leave you any time for rest? For slacking off a little bit? For taking it easy? It absolutely does not. And we've got to be more serious about this task. This church needs to be sending people out and out and out and out on these kinds of tasks, these kinds of missions. Praise God, we have some that have gone out from here. We have others that are interested in going out. But we cannot just rest on our laurels and pat ourselves on the back and say, oh, we're doing pretty good. We're better than the average. I'm not even sure if we're better than the average. But if we are, so what? That just shows you how bad the average is. We are not doing a good job in this task. We can do better. We have the resources. We have the personnel. We have the energy and the strength. We must do a better job in obedience to the Lord.
There's a mandate that we've been prescribed. A prescription is something you're supposed to go down and pick it up and get it and use it and do it, like the doctor ordered. In this case, our commander-in-chief, the Lord Jesus, gave us that commission. We have a mandate that we've been prescribed. We have a message that we are supposed to proclaim, and that is to take the gospel to these people, to make disciples, teaching them, baptizing them, teaching them everything that God commanded us. I want to tell you, that's a whole bunch. That is a full-time job. That is a full curriculum. And that is our task. You can't point at anybody else and say, well, I'm glad he's doing it. It's my job. It's your job. And there is this movement that we are to promote. Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and unto the uttermost parts. It's not first in Jerusalem and then in Judea and Samaria and then to the uttermost parts. It's all of the above at the same time. So that means some will work here, some will work nearby, some will work far away. But we all are part of that process necessarily in supporting it, in praying for it, in encouraging it, in using our resources in order to together obey the Lord. Now that last verse said that the Lord is going to be with us in helping us to do that. There's a might there that we've been promised. If you didn't catch my alliteration, let me repeat it for you, okay? The mandate we've been prescribed, the message we are to proclaim, the movement we're to promote. But there's also a great strength, a might that has been promised to us for this task. All authority, all power has been given. Help is on the way, but it may not come from the USA. I heard that from a mission president 14 years ago from this pulpit. Help is on the way, but it may not come from the USA. We've been surpassed. There are African countries, Asian countries that are doing a better job of sending out missionaries now than we are. I'm not willing to accept that. I am absolutely not willing to say that's okay with me. We have incredible resources. We're just not using them properly. Don't take up space that could be used by someone else more profitably. Someone who wants to learn, someone who is willing to work, someone who is up to the task, who will accept the challenge. Stop being a bump on the log. Stop just sitting there and soaking it up. Get involved. Get active. Do your part. Every single one of us, if we are genuine believers, have things that we can do, and we know that. We know what we could be doing. We must be more faithful about it. Listen to the missionaries who visit us. And just count how many times they ask you to pray. I didn't count tonight, but I guess there was 15 times or more. Pray for this, pray for this, pray for this, pray for this. Every single one of us can be doing that much more effectively. Let's do it. Father, thank you for this challenge tonight. Thank you for dear Faith. For her courage to say yes, to step up to the job that needs to be done. I pray that you would provide all of her needs and far beyond. That you would rush her there to the field to be able to meet that challenge. Help her with her language work now and longer term. Help her as she learns better how to teach. Thank you for the opportunities that you haven't just given her, but she has been willing to accept, to teach her own sisters and to learn from the missionary that's there now. I pray, Lord, that her example would rub off on us. Help us to grasp the importance of the task that we have. Help us to put our time and energy and our resources to much better effect in fulfilling the commission that you have given us. May we not come to the end of our days ashamed and embarrassed by all that we could have done, and for whatever bad reasons we haven't. Thank you for those that are faithful. I know that we have folks here that are tireless in serving you. And I know we have some really good missionaries out on the fields that are working hard and going without things and happy as clams to do it. May their example rub off on all of us. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. So, Faith, if you'll make your way back, you can be there. Maybe by your table is a good spot so you can answer questions. And as you stand, please put your hand down in your pocket and go deep and forget about the coins and get some paper with big numbers on it. Will you please? And be very generous in that offering. The Lord bless you.